What's going on, guys? And thank you for tuning back in today for another deck profile. We have Ethan's blue croc that he recently took out this week's locals with, and he also piloted it through today's online regional. So, my friend, kick us off. How'd you go?
Alrighty, well, today at regionals I went 4-4, which was unfortunate because I did make a few deck changes the night before.
Yep.
Leaning towards a bit more on the yellow side so I can win against yellow a bit more easier, but saw 0 yellow on the day and it did turn around to bite me in the ass because making it a bit better against yellow makes it not as great against red, and that is all I saw against was today.
Okay, that's unfortunate, but you did take out a locals this past week, which was really impressive because you went through a lot of the the current meta that we were kind of expecting with Whitebeard and such.
A lot of Whitebeards, a lot of Zorros.
Yep.
A lot of that. So we'll get straight into it.
All right, kick us off.
I've decided to put 4 of the 1-cost blocker Trafalgar Laws. Now, the reason I do this is purely it helps a lot with the Whitebeard matchup, especially when you know that they're dropping the 9 cost on that turn.
Okay.
Just so you can get that easy for 1 Don. They're dropping the Whitebeard, you block the 8k. A lot of people have removed the removal in the decks now for this card, or along the lines of pesky 1-cost blockers to fit in events that kill a lot bigger characters now. So I feel that the 1-cost 1k blockers have really found their niche back in set 3. So that's why that's at a 4 of. Moving on to a few of our 2Ks, we've got 14 2K counters in this deck. Now the only real playable one here is Kaya, that would help you cycle through the deck. Now this deck is very heavy, top heavy, so cycling through dead cards is a must-have in this deck, which is why playing this card isn't actually a bad strat.
Okay.
Moving on to our Santamarus, our Doflamingos, and Pacifista matchup. So here we've got the obvious 4 Doflamingo blockers that search the top 5 and let you rearrange. Also helps you with not drawing into dead cards very early in the game, like your Drackle Mihawks, your Doflamingo 7-cost bounce, and your Soga Kings. Your Santamaru package is a must-have in blue in my opinion. But the split of the Pacifistas is what personal preference I'd say is in the deck. Moving on to like 2 blocker Pacifistas to 4 normal vanilla Pacifistas, I find is a lot good on the sweet spot, purely because you can summon out a blocker whenever needed if you have Santamaru out, which I think is extremely good. I think personally 1's not enough, 2 is on the sweet spot. Anywhere above 2, you're going to be finding that you're drawing into too many no counter cards. And then going on to our heavy top end game cards here, we're running 3 of the 5-cost 7 vanilla crocs purely just to have a big body if you don't see any of your 7s and 9s. Also, it's on the sweet spot curve that blue likes to go on, which is you're going first into 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 Don. Moving on to our Soga King and our Doflamingo, I have a 2-2 split in this iteration of the deck that I won at the locals. I did end up changing this for regionals to help me along with the yellow matchups a lot more, because I find Soga King helps me cycle through the deck a lot more, which is why I upped this, which I will show you momentarily. The reason I've got a 2-2 split is Dofi is still viable in my opinion, purely because of those 7 costs that do get dropped, like bouncing Ace, 7-cost Rush Ace is not a bad idea, especially if you are forcing them into a turn, which blue is very, very good at capitalizing on if you can force people into turns to survive. Moving on to our Mihawk, running 4 of because it's a must-have C in these sort of matchups. Bottom decking Marcos, bottom decking Aces, bottom decking all those pesky like 5 and above sort of characters that just really stick around and you don't want to invest on into killing. You could just 9 Don bot deck here. The events that we're running, an obvious staple in the deck, Some argue the number on this, but in my personal opinion, I run 4 of in all my blue decks now, 3,000 worlds. It's such a profit card and such a good tempo changer, especially when you have other cards to cycle onto that, like you're dropping a 4 into your Doflamingo, so you're removing while also blocking up without actually investing any Don or swinging. And we're running 3 Sanji's Paylaf, which gets you your late card draw, because that's one of Blue's weaknesses, especially the way that I personally play. I tend to protect life as long as possible and get as little hand as possible. So your Sanji's Paylaf in life trigger and even playing for 3 Don is very, very good to cycle into all of your big hitters that will help you along end game. The overall, what you want to see in an opening hand, Trafalgar Law's always good. The 1 or 2, the 1-2k counter is great, but the thing you're going to be wanting to see mainly in a starting hand going first is your Santamarus, and depending on your matchup, especially against like black and red that start dropping those 4-cost 6ks very early on, your 3,000 worlds. So when I have an opening hand, personally, I look definitely for your Trafalgar Law, your Santamarus, your 3,000 worlds, and then one of your 7 drops, because moving into all of your draws, you're most than likely going to draw into a Mihawk. Moving on over here, this is kind of the flex side of the deck, which is what I ran today. So I ran 2 Kumas today, replacing a few things in the deck, and I ran an extra Soga King purely for the bounce to help me against yellow, because you need those blocks against yellow to stop all of the unnecessary damage going through early, waiting for their 10 drops. Missile Sunday, obviously, is to get your events back, but it is a good blocker, which is one thing that I find if you drag the game on for too long, you do tend to fall out of blockers very, very easily.
Okay.
And then I did experiment with the 6-cost 8k. It's very, very, very good against all of your small hitting decks like Zorro. If you can stall them out to drop big bodies that's hard for them to remove, that's really good. And obviously your extra 2k counters are just there for survivability.
Yeah.
But other than that, that is the deck. This deck's also been posted up on One Piece Top Decks. Now we have other decks getting posted up on the channel very soon, so keep an eye out for those. And big shout out to all the lads at PX3, especially Nick last night, helping me make the decision of adding the Bartholomew Kuma blocker in and adding an extra Soga King. So other than that,
awesome, man. Awesome.
Big shout out to Beyond, one of our sponsors, and EternalMagic.cc.
Cool.
So other than that, I think that's everything.
Beautiful, man. So yeah, you saw it here, guys. This past week's winning local deck profile, Ethan, the Blue Croc man himself, he's doing wonders with the deck. So he's always hard at it, trying to improve it and make blue relevant as best as he can. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate your love and support. Remember always to like and subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and as always, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, my friend.